There is no better gift a man can give himself than a strong mind. A mind that refuses to give up, no matter the circumstance. Because life will not always be gentle. There will be days when motivation disappears. Days when life kicks you while you're down. And if your mind is weak, that is where you will fall apart. Fear will take control. Distraction becomes an addiction. Therefore, a man must cultivate a strong, resilient mindset, one that can withstand life's challenges. And to achieve this, a man must study his own mind. But this is something most people run from, because it means confronting the parts of yourself you have been avoiding. It means sitting alone with your own thoughts, allowing yourself to understand your own weakness. But most people avoid this because it is hard, and instead they distract themselves. They fill this opportunity with noise instead. Then they wonder why they collapse when life finally demands strength. But a strong mind does not appear out of nowhere. It is built through silence, through discomfort. And that is why you must build your mind before life breaks it. Because when the storm comes, and it will, you need a foundation to support you. Otherwise, you will just fall apart. You need a mind that has been trained to stand. A mind that does not panic every time life becomes uncomfortable. Because life will expose what has not been strengthened. It will find the fear you keep hiding from, the discipline you never built. And when pressure arrives, it will not ask if you are ready. It will simply reveal what you refuse to train. That is why the first battle is not outside you. It is inside your own mind. Before you face the world, you have to understand yourself. You must understand your own weakness. Before you ask life for more, you have to ask yourself, what part of you is still not ready to carry it? This is why you need to silence the noise, the endless scrolling, the distractions you call rest, and go into a place that will let you face these problems head on. Because discipline cannot survive inside a cluttered mind. If your inner world is filled with noise, comparison, and constant distraction, then even a small problem can knock you off course. One comment can ruin your focus. One difficult emotion can pull you back into old habits. And that is not because you are incapable. It is because your mind has no order. A clear mind is armor for the day. It gives discipline somewhere to live. It gives your focus a place to stand. It gives you a foundation to build everything else on top of. So return to the lab inside your mind, that quiet place where you stop running from yourself, where you study your thoughts, because that is where change begins. Not in pretending you are strong, but in finally being honest with yourself. Many men never get stronger because they never become honest enough to see what actually needs to be trained. They hide behind noise. They hide behind ego. But growth does not care about image. It cares about truth. What are you afraid of? What are you avoiding? You cannot build an unbreakable mind while hiding from the parts of yourself that still control you. At some point, you have to face what hurt you. Not to live inside it, but to understand it, to study it, to extract the lesson. Because pain that is never examined becomes a prison. It makes you avoid risk. It makes you distrust people who never hurt you. It makes you quit before you can be rejected. But if you are willing to look honestly at what happened, You can take the pain and turn it into knowledge. You can take the wound and turn it into wisdom. But that is not easy. Nothing worth having ever is. But making the decision to choose short-term suffering now over letting the long-term suffering happen later is one that will change your life. Because the unchosen suffering is coming. Life will bring pain you did not ask for. Seasons where you feel tired, uncertain, alone, and tested in ways you never imagined. And if the only suffering you have ever known is the suffering life forced onto you, then you will be ill-prepared for the tests that are on their way. That is why you must choose difficulty before difficulty chooses you. You must aim to do something hard every day, not for attention, but to teach your mind that discomfort is not a command to stop. You wake up when the alarm goes off and tell your mind, this is what we do now. You sit with silence instead of reaching for distraction. You finish the task you used to abandon. That is how mental toughness is built. Not in one dramatic moment, but in repeated command. Again and again, you place yourself in discomfort and teach your mind to adapt. And at first, it resists. It complains. It tries to bargain. But if you keep returning, the mind learns. It learns that hard does not mean impossible. It learns that this is the way forward. And over time, doing hard things becomes less like punishment and more like routine. It becomes proof that you are not who you used to be. Proof that your mind can be trained. And that proof becomes confidence. Real confidence. Not fake certainty, but confidence built from measurable evidence that you kept showing up. That you did not quit where you used to quit. That you faced what you used to avoid. Because you finally realize that you cannot keep saying you want to become stronger while still giving in to every weakness. Every day, you have to ask yourself honestly, did I move like the man I say I am becoming? Did I face the thing I wanted to avoid? Because victory is not always beating everyone else. Sometimes victory is finishing what you used to quit. Sometimes victory is going that little bit further. That is how an unbreakable mind is built. One conquered weakness at a time. One difficult day at a time. And once you cultivate this mindset, it will take you far in life. Because when life gets intense, you cannot run from your problems. You cannot have someone else think for you when you are alone inside your own head. You have to build it before you need it. The brain is your most powerful weapon. But if you do not control it, it will control you. It will replay the past. It will magnify doubt. That is why you must become the commander of your own mind and not a victim of every thought. The mind can be trained, but training requires pressure. So set goals that scare you a little, because fear shows you where growth is waiting. Doubt shows you what must be trained. If you only set goals you already know you can reach, you never force your mind to expand. You never meet the stronger man. You only keep confirming the old one. But when you step toward something beyond your current ability, something inside you has to rise. Your habits have to evolve. Your discipline has to grow. And that is exactly the point. The goal is not only to achieve the thing. The goal is to become the kind of man who could carry what you're asking for. Because if you do not want to improve for yourself for the sake of your goals, you need to ask why. Why do you not care about your own mind, your own future? A man must realize that his own self-mastery is tied directly to his purpose, and everything he does in life stems from this skill. A man's growth is important. A man's discipline is vital. Even when nobody is watching, even when there is no trophy, no deadline, or no external pressure. A man should still aim to perform at a high level because the person he is becoming is always watching. And one day, life will test that person. So build him now. Cut the noise. Enter the lab inside your mind. Face the past. Extract the lesson. Choose discomfort. Organize your mind. Hold yourself accountable. Do the hard thing until hard things stop frightening you the same way. Because the goal is not to ignore the inner feelings. It is to become unshaken, not emotionless, but steady. There is an old version of you that may have been scared, hurt, embarrassed. But that does not have to be the version that leads forever. You can build another one, a stronger one, a more disciplined one. A man whose mind has been through enough chosen discomfort that unchosen suffering no longer phases him. So do not wait until life breaks you to start building strength. Do not wait until the storm arrives to start training your mind. Start now. In silence. In discomfort. In the small daily battle nobody sees. Because a strong mind is the greatest gift a man can give himself. And once he builds it, his life begins to transform.